Hello learners, I am Parikshit Saikia and welcome to this very exciting session on Unacademy CAT-alyst. In today's session, we are going to discuss how should you prepare for your B school interviews and how do you go about building your resume. What should you do, right? So that you can add a few extra things on your resume. The session is meant for both CAT 2022 aspirants as well as CAT 2023 aspirants. CAT 2022, I'm going to give you short tips because you don't have too many days remaining for your interviews. And CAT 2023 or for 2024, with more than a year left, you have a lot of things that you can put on your resume, provided you build those skills. So let's get started. Super exciting session. Lot of things coming up. So let's get started. Just making sure that I'm streaming live on YouTube. Am I? Absolutely. Fine. Let's start. Okay. First things first. How do you go about building your profile, right? I think that's the first thing that I'm going to touch upon today, profile building. Because if you're able to build your profile, interview preparation, a part of it, it is already taken care. Profile building. Fine? Okay. Now think about it. To build your profile, right, what can you do? I'm also going to talk about your resume, right, and a resume format. So, but that's towards the latter part of it. Initially, let's talk about some very practical things which all of us can do, right, and put it on our resume. First thing, I would say the first and foremost, which is very easy to do along with your CAT preparation, is a few certifications. Certifications. What kind of certification should you do? Should you go for something which is very hard, like a very hard finance certification? Is that doable? See, definitely doable. The more the tougher the certification, the better it is to put on your resume. But there is a catch there, right? CAT preparation requires a lot of time. So if you want to do something which is very tough, it might not be possible practically. See, theoretically, it is the best thing. Do something very tough. But practically, it might not be possible for the simple reason that you are preparing for the CAT. You have limited time. Most of you might be already working or might be attending colleges. So time is a constraint. If that's the thing, I would strongly recommend that do something probably on Excel, right? Yes, get something done on Excel. If you can do something on Excel, probably you know a few Excel formulas. You know something, let's say a few terminologies like, let's say, VLOOKUP. I'm not getting into the details of what is a VLOOKUP, right? But in your resume, if you can talk about that you have done Excel certification, you know very well what's a VLOOKUP, you know pivots, you use these terminologies, and you know what? The interview panel most likely will start asking you questions on what is a VLOOKUP, what is the difference between a VLOOKUP and an HLOOKUP, right? Or probably how do you create a pivot table, a scenario where a pivot table could be useful, right? So all these things, your interview panel will start asking you if you talk about them that you are an expert in Excel. More than that, it's also going to help you in your B school placements. Why? Because during placements, and trust me, for an MBA, right, or an would-be MBA, the most important skill that you would actually require, right, is Excel and PowerPoint. You might learn a lot of jargons in your MBA, but trust me, nothing is more important than Excel and PowerPoint in MBA. So why don't you learn Excel now and probably get a certification, probably from Udemy or somewhere. Why I say a certification? Because if you get a certification, right, I would say get certified. And why that word certified is important? Because if you get certified, you can mention in your resume that certified in MS Excel from so and so institute. If you do that, you gotta carry some weightage, right? What else can you do? You can also do some data analytics course. Some data analytics course. What kind of data analytics course can you do? Probably you can do a course on R. You can do a course on, let's say, Python, right? R, Python, right? Some data analytics course, R, Python, and there are so many of them, or probably some stats, right? Statistical courses. You can do all of this. And why I also mention is these do not take a lot of time. but they are very useful. These are things which probably the placements, right? The placement, during the placements, your interview panels, the companies, they look for it. So if you have them now, it's not only going to help you during your placements 2 years later, but it's also going to help you during your MBA B school interview preparation, right? What else can you do? You can do also learn probably, some reporting tool, from some reporting tool. What kind of reporting tool are we talking about? You could learn, let's say, Tableau, or you can learn, let's say, Power BI. These are very easy tools. These are like drag and drop features, and they help create a lot of very colorful dashboards. Very colorful dashboards you can create. Tableau, Power BI, etc. Do you have to do all of these? Absolutely no. You pick up where is your interest area. If your interest area is probably in some sort of coding, statistics, you can go for data analytics courses. You want Excel, right? Go for VLOOKUPs, do an Excel course, or from some reporting, do Tableau, Power BI, and all. Right? So pick up something, not all, but if you can get something, and remember, most important is get certified from somewhere, probably from Udemy is a good place, right, to get certified. Why I say is, if you get certified, it adds credentials to your resume, right? So get certified. That's the first thing. Second thing which you can do is to prepare your resume and build your profile is get involved, right? Get involved with what? With an NGO. Remember, these are very practical tips. All of you can do it. All of you can do it. What type of NGO? Figure out an NGO where which will also give you a certification. Remember, everywhere certification is important. Certification needed. If you are able to get a certification, right, it helps you to justify your cost. Certification needed, right? So get involved with some local NGO, right? There are so many NGOs now working for COVID infected people, or people who were badly infected, or people who lost their near and dear ones because of COVID. NGOs are many in this country. Can you get involved in one of them? If you don't get involved in any of them, or probably your interview is lined up in the next few days, you know what you can do at least? You can at least go on 2 Sundays. You can go probably to some very busy junction, okay? For people who don't have time, okay? Just a thing. If you don't have time, if you don't have time, okay, let's say, then probably you can go to a traffic signal and distribute a few water bottles. Distribute water bottles. Water bottles at some roadside junction. Now, why do I say so? Why do I say so? Now, think about it. If you do not have time, then obviously you cannot get enrolled with an NGO. If you cannot get involved with an NGO, but you know what? You want to talk about being involved in an NGO, then you can probably perform a few activities. Now, why performing is important? I don't know how many of you know this movie, Drishyam. Have you heard about this movie Drishyam? I don't know the spelling. Pardon me for the spelling. But the movie is Drishyam, and it tells you that if you have experienced something, right, it is easy to explain. Remember, the interview panel जिसके सामने तुम बैठा रहेगा probably has got 10, 20, 30 years of experience. If you have not done something and try to make up a story, you know what? Most often than not, they're going to catch you that this is fake. But if you have actually experienced it, you can at least go and distribute a few water bottles at the junction and then tell that every Sunday, you know what, I go and distribute water bottles at some roadside junction, 10 water bottles, and it gives me a sense of happiness, right? Do that. Because if you don't and try to make up a story, when if you are caught, you are not going to get selected. But if you do this, trust me, answering in the interview would become super easy, because it's always easy to tell something which you have actually worked on or probably actually done in experience, rather than imagining and telling things where the probability of you being caught is very high, right? Caught on what? Caught that you are telling a lie, right? So get involved with an NGO. That's the best thing. And worst case, if you don't have time, at least do some social activities. As an example, distribute some water bottles at the roadside junction so that you can at least talk about it. And like the Drishyam movie, I'll stress, important to experience it. Otherwise, it's highly dangerous. They might just catch you that you are lying. Okay. Second thing. That's the second thing. Third thing. Third thing is cultivate a hobby. Cultivate a hobby. Hobby is very important. Hobby is very, very important. Now, hobby, I don't know how many of you know about it, but hobby is something that you actually take part in. Something that you take part, okay, in. Example, let's me give an you take part in. As an example, let me give an example. Let me give an example. Okay, playing cricket. Okay, playing cricket is a hobby. This is a hobby. But watching cricket is not a hobby. Cannot be called a hobby. It at best can be called interest. So I hope you understand the difference. You actually do it, that's hobby. Playing cricket is hobby. Watching cricket, not a hobby. Eating food, I love to eat, sir. You love to eat? Is that a hobby? No. But you cook, is that a hobby? Yes. So I hope you get the difference. Hobby is something that you actually do. Cooking is a hobby, but eating is not a hobby, right? So be very careful. You actually take part in, that's a hobby for you. So develop a hobby, because if you develop a hobby, the good part is it is very easy to talk about it in an interview. Think about it. If you, let's say, play cricket, you enjoy cricket, you love cricket, you play cricket, and you know what? You'd love that the interview panel asks you a lot of questions on cricket. All of you would love that, right? And if the interview is for 30 minutes, a good thing could be for 15 minutes, they start asking you questions related to your hobby, which is your strong area. And because it is your strong area, there are high chances you'll be able to answer. So cultivate a hobby. You are reading a book. That's a hobby. They might ask you, what kind of books do you read? So never again, never lie in an interview. If you lie, trust me, those people are 20, 25, 30 years of experience. Okay. They'll immediately catch you. You say, I love books. They will ask you, what kind of books do you read? You say fiction. Suddenly they will ask you 2, 3 authors' names. And they will ask you, can you tell me a few books based on these authors? These are authors who are very famous, and their writings are very famous in the world of fiction. And you say, no, sir, I don't know. Immediately they will catch you that you are lying, right? So develop a hobby, because if you develop a hobby, it's very easy to crack an interview. Trust me, I have had students who, you know what, who have talked for 30 minutes in an interview about their hobby, and they've cracked it. There was a student of mine whose hobby was playing football. And because his hobby was playing football, you know what he said? He said that he wants to do strategy. He wants to get into MBA, and because he wants to learn more about strategy. And they asked him, what do you know about strategy? And then he talked about football. How? Because football is all about strategy. Where do you place your fielders? How do you pass the ball? Teamwork, strategy. Those placements are nothing but strategy. He connected the entire game of football to the concept of strategy and then talked about it, and he cracked an interview, and today he's an XLRI alumnus. So develop a hobby. If you don't have one, cultivate one. And as I said, watching cricket, eating food, like these are not hobbies. Listening to music is not a hobby. You sing, you dance, these are hobbies, right? So you actually take part in, that's a hobby, right? So cultivate a hobby. And as I said, these are very practical tips that I'm giving you, right? Practical, very practical, and you can easily be a part of it. Fine. Four, learn a few topics about regarding marketing and finance. Marketing slash finance topics. Slash finance topics. Okay. Now, how will you do that? My area of interest is finance. Let's say for people who love finance, what can you do regarding finance? Okay. What can you do? See, I can give you some very tough courses, but they would not mean anything. I can tell you do CFA, right? But then CFA requires a lot of time. Doing it along with your MBA preparation is going to be very difficult. So I'm not going to tell you CFA. Rather, I'm going to tell you, you know what? Go through a few NCFM modules. NCFM modules, okay? Type in Google what is NCFM, and these talk about very basic things of finance, like what is a mutual fund, what is equity, very basics. You can go through some of their modules. And once you go through some of their modules, you feel confident about them. You can actually pay some money, give an exam, and get yourself certified in these NCFA models. Or you know what you can also do? You can analyze or research about a company or area. Research about about a company or a specific area. Example, you love a company, probably, you know what, you're very much interested in, let's say, probably cars. If you're very much interested in cars, take a car manufacturing company, probably Maruti, and go and deep dive about Maruti. When they ask you in your interview, what else do, you can say, you know what, sir, in my free time, I spend a lot of time researching things. As an example, I have researched the company Maruti, and then talk about the company. When I say research, what will you research? You will research about their products. You will talk about their balance sheets, their financial numbers, how much profit are they making, what are the good things that are coming up, any new innovations that are doing, right? Lot of things you can talk about. So take up any company, and I would say take up a company in your area of interest. Why? Because then it becomes easy to talk about. If you are a guy, if you are a boy and you have no idea about cosmetics and you do research about a cosmetic company, it will not be very natural to you. But if you're a girl and probably very fond of makeups and cosmetics, you can do a research on a cosmetic company. Yes? Or rather, you can also do a research on a specific area. Example, the world is heading into a recession. So what you have done? You have done a deep dive analysis into a specific area, right? Probably how the world economy is facing up due to COVID, or how COVID is going to impact the world economy. One specific topic you take and do a research on it. Why? Because in an interview, then you can talk about and put boundaries. You can say that, you know what, I have done a research on how the world economy is impacted by COVID. You have given them the topic. Now the panel suddenly cannot ask you and talk about, let's say, cryptocurrency. Why? You are telling them that you have done a research on COVID impact on the world economy. So can they suddenly ask you something different? No, they will not. But if you tell them, you know what, sir, I love doing research, that's an open-ended field. They can ask you any Tom, Dick, Harry question on any research in the world. So define your area, pick up a specific company or a specific area, right? And talk about, probably demonetization impact. Is it still visible? How successful was demonetization? I have done a complete research, right? So take a specific area or a company, do a research. Trust me, it's gonna do wonders in your resume, and mention it in your resume, right? Someone is asking, Shivani is asking, can we do virtual internships and talk about that in the interview? देखो, virtual internships तो कर ही सकते हो, but virtual internships will mostly about, let's say, preparing a deck or going through some PowerPoints, right? You can definitely do a virtual internship and talk about it. That's also very good. That's also very good, right? Virtual internship is like a certification. As I said, it's like a certification. You can do it and talk about it, right? Marketing and finance topics. And then the next thing that I wanted to tell you is regarding marketing. I talked about finance. Can you also do something related to marketing? Absolutely. Probably you can talk about, you know what, how Unacademy is doing marketing. Or probably you can take a specific company, let's say Maruti or probably Mahindra. What is their marketing strategy? How do they try to capture the market? When something comes up, probably you're very creative. You are very creative, so creative that you love those ads which appear on televisions. You can talk about 2, 3 ads and tell them how you have analyzed those ads, how those ads have actually impacted human sentiments, and probably how those ads can be improved upon further. So no matter whether your area is in marketing or finance, whatever your area of interest is and you want to talk about it, mention it now. Do some homework. Now is the time to do some homework and put it in your resume, right? And then what else can you talk about? You know what? You can also talk about some generic, generic, generic uh, generic topics or generic courses. You can also talk about some generic courses. Example, Six Sigma. You can complete a Six Sigma certification. You can complete a Six Sigma certification, right? Moment you complete a Six Sigma certification, you can get it certified, mention in your resume, and that's gonna carry a lot of weightage. So these are some of the ways, and as I said, most important is these are practical ways. I can tell you to learn a lot of things, but trust me, along with your CAT preparation, it becomes very difficult. What I have told you will not take much time. Probably it takes a month to do, 2 months to do max, and all of them can be there on your resume, especially if you do not have too many things to talk about. Are we clear on this? Are we clear on this? So these are some of the ways to build your profile. Is this clear? Is this clear? Any doubt in this? Any doubt in this? Say it? Okay. Next, let's talk about how do you prepare your resume. What are the contents that should go in your resume? What are the contents that should be a part of your resume? Contents of a resume. Of a resume. Contents of a resume. Okay. First thing. Okay. So let's take it like this. Let's say the first thing that can come up in your resume is your personal details. I'm showing you one format of a resume. You can put starting में सबसे ऊपर you can put your personal details. Personal details. Example of personal details could be name, date of birth, address, right? All these things can be put in your personal details section of the resume, which can be section 1 of your resume. Section 2 of your resume could be academic details. Okay. In your academic details section, what can you put? In your academic details section, you can probably put in the form of a table. Let's say you can put year. Okay. Then you can put year. Then you can put college name or university name. College name or university name. Then name of the degree. Example, whether you are an engineer, whether you are a BCom, etc. Right? Degree. So year, college, degree, and then marks. College, university, degree, and then marks. Marks or percentage, right? Marks. I'll write it as marks. So something like that, you can prepare a table. When you are preparing a table, it's important to understand that the most recent goes at the top. Most recent, right? Whatever is most recent, start with most recent. So number 1 in your table should be probably your graduation details if it happens to be the most recent. Why? People are more bothered about how are you currently rather than what you achieved when you were a small kid in class 10. Not many people are bothered. So you always start with the most recent. Let's say if you've done a post-graduation, graduation, 12, 10. That's the order that you are going to follow, right? So start always with the most recent. Take it? So personal details ho gaya. Next I talked about academic details. Third could be your internship. Internship details. What are you going to talk about in the internship? Probably all of you during your last year of graduation, okay? Or probably you have, or sometimes later you must have done some sort of internship. Put the internship details there. Internship details may, what is important is not those minute details that you prepared an Excel sheet. Those are not important. What is important is, what was it? Okay, what was the internship all about? Okay, next could be what exactly you did. Okay, and then what you need to mention is benefits. The benefits derived. Okay, benefits could be, and if that was used as a prototype, probably, you know what, the model that you develop, the internship work that you work, internship, and I won't say just internship, it could actually be internship and projects. I'll combine both of them in one section, internship and project. So probably you built something which was so nice, everyone appreciated it, and you know what, you actually implemented that on a small scale, probably in your college, or could be a local company actually tried it out on a small scale. So what are the benefits? What exactly do you do? And what was the internship all about? These three questions have to be answered in this particular paragraph of the resume. Always put it in the form of bullets. Always put it your resume, right? Write the resume in the form of bullet points. In the form of bullet points. So first bullet could be what was it? Second bullet, what exactly you did, and third could be the benefits, and probably if it was used as a prototype in some small company or someone used it. Right? That's the next thing. Internship and projects. Fine. Fourth one that you're going to put on your resume is work experience. Work experience. And needless to say, again, I will say the same thing. Start with the most recent. Start with the most recent. That's important. Start with the most recent. So whatever is your most recent work experience, put that out here. Put that out here, okay? Again, work experience may, the format that you can follow is, here you can put, let's say, name of organization, okay? Name of organization on the left hand side, and somewhere on the right hand side you can put period, time period, right? Time period, which year to which year, like something like June 2021 to December 2022. June 2021 to December 2022 is when you work, and then you can mention your bullets, like this, right? So one organization, you have worked in multiple organizations, just put it in descending order. Most recent organization come first, write down the bullets, what you have done, what was it, how much, right? And then the second organization, and so on, right? That's your next thing. Fine. Next could be, next one that you can put it on your resume is achievements. It's achievements. Any achievements that you have. Achievements could be, you know what? Example, you got a gold medal for being the first in your college is an achievement. Or probably you always scored 100 out of 100 in your maths paper is an achievement, right? So anything which is related to your probably academics, I would say academic achievements here, right? You put it here. Or it could also be like you were the topper, something like that, right? Something that you did, you're really proud of it, and you feel that the interview panel will give you extra points if they come to know about it. Mention it. This is the place to talk all about your achievements. Put it in, as I said, put it again in bullet points. Fine. Number six I would suggest non-academic pursuits. What are non-academic pursuits? It could simply mean that first prize in debate competition, inter-college debate competition, team captain of your college basketball team, and you led the team to 10 consecutive state level victories. Example of non-academic pursuits. Or you were the president of your college debating society. You were the president of IEEE, or you were the founding member of your college dance club. All these things which are not academic related, right? But something extracurricular can be mentioned in non-academic pursuits. Okay, that's point number six. Point number seven could be other details. So whatever you have not mentioned on the top six, in top six, you can mention it out here. Some other details, probably you want to talk about that, you know what, you represented your school in some science competition, something, whatever you have not mentioned upper may, but you want to mention it out here. This is the place to work on. Or probably you have some work in progress item, right? You are working on some design and that's a WIP thing. You want to mention it as an other details, mention it, right? So these 7 sections more or less sums up your resume, and I think this is a very good way to prepare a resume. These 7 pointers. How long should be your resume? I think this is a question I get asked so often. Resume length. How long should be your resume? I would say 1 page ideally. 1 page Worst case or maximum 1 page. But if you want to stretch, you've got too many things to write, maximum 2 pages. So someone will say, so only 1 page? What are you saying? I have my resume built over 6 pages. Trust me, that's a prehistoric era. No one has big, lengthy resumes these days. The reason is, think about it. The professor has got some 100 students, okay, whose interview he needs to take. Do you think if you prepare a 6 page resume, the professor will have the patience or the energy to go through 6 pages of resume of every student who comes to him? And that number could be in several hundreds. What you all need is just a 1 pager, and worst case, permissible 2 pages, not more than that under any circumstances. If you are doing that, that's a mistake. Create a 1 pager resume. Remember, a resume is just telling you those bullets, and once something that interests them, probably you have mentioned about, you know what, you have got a gold medal in something, something. If the person who is interviewing you is interested, he himself will ask you about it. You don't have to describe all the details in the resume itself. Resume are those bullets, those starting points. It gives the interview panel, right, the list of bullets, the list of points on which he can ask questions. You don't have to describe anything in detail in a resume, right? So 1 pager resume is more than enough. Is more than enough. Clear? Okay. I think that's it. I don't want to stretch this session. I want to keep this session short so that you know what to do with this. I might have given you only 7 points in a resume, and I talked about another 5 points that you can talk about to build your profile. Trust me, points are 5, but if you start working on them, this would really take a lot of time, and it will take a few months, probably 2 months, to build your profile, and then another few days to put and prepare and finalize your resume, right? So get started. This is a very good start to create your resume and build your profile. Okay, fine. And just a reminder, tonight, the 29th of December, people who are watching it live, I'm going to take a decision making session on the ZAT tonight at 10 p.m. Okay, tonight, 10 p.m., 29th of December, decision making session. Okay, till then, goodbye and stay safe. I hope you found the session useful. If you found it useful, don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you, folks, and happy learning. Bye for now.